Sarah said I love you first. It was President's Day weekend, which obviously is in February, so I guess it was we started dating in July. She said it President's Day weekend after we started dating. So it was like almost 7 or 8 months. And I also remember, I don't know if this is appropriate, but this was also the first weekend we had relations. Which, again, a very long window. I did say I love you back in that moment. So everybody knows that Sarah is more like a, what is the newest fad, and she's gonna like ride it until it dies kind of thing. So right now, her favorite dish that I make, I wanna say, is probably the quinoa cowboy bake, which was a recipe I found on Trader Joe's. But I kind of feel like that's just like the flavor of the month right now, but I think that's how she's gonna answer this one. So it's kind of two, but it both pertains to the shower. So everybody knows she doesn't like shower every day. But when she does shower and she does wash her hair, she like will wash it, and like everybody has like hairs come out. She puts them on the wall of the shower and leaves them there. So like I'll go in to take a shower and there's like a little hair monster on the wall. And then the other part of it is when she gets out, like I try to dry off as much as I can in the shower. I think Sarah just steps out and just like makes the entire like bathroom floor like a big puddle. And she doesn't do anything to dry it up. And if everybody knows, we don't have like a drying bath mat. We have like a bamboo thing. So it doesn't capture any of the water. It's just like a giant puddle. So when I step in there, my socks get soaked. Easy. It's when, and I don't know why this is an annoying habit, but I follow the directions on how to wash your hands. So you're supposed to wet your hands first, then get soap, do this for a while, and then rinse. For some reason, Sarah doesn't believe in the wetting your hands first part. So when I go to get soap, my fingers are dripping with water, and if there's water around the sink, Sarah has like a freak out. And she has to like wipe down after every single time I use the sink, even though it's just gonna get wet again in like 5 minutes. So we kind of had a discussion about this, and we both kind of found that we're opposite camps. I want to be on a beach drinking. She wants to be like in the middle of wilderness. But I think we've landed on like this national park kick. So I think if she had to pick, she would say national park. And I think specifically, I think she's going to guess Bryce Canyon. I drank one night and I went to bed. I was dating somebody at the time, so I was staying over there. And I don't know why, but I woke up in the middle of the night needing to use the bathroom. And I just got up and took a piss on the carpet. And I don't know why. I've never done that before. I've never done that since. But needless to say, it did not go over well. But I still think back and I think it's the most hilarious thing I've ever done. And like I said, she's like a flavor of the month person. So like she has these weird kicks of like the songs that she's into right now. Like if off the top of her head, probably she immediately went to like a Maren Morris song. But I think we kind of have this one in common because it kind of like is like one of the first songs I think that we might have danced to. Probably would be Jason Derulo, Want to Want Me. Me. Easy. Sarah, she's not a bad driver. I mean, you can look at the side of her car and, you know, be the judge. But I don't know, like, she's always hesitant when she makes her turns. So, like, there'll be, like, a car 2 blocks away and she'll be like, oh, you know, and then she won't go. And then when she does go, it's, like, the slowest turn ever. And I'm like, hurry up. Like, you're, like, the person I, like, sit behind and yell at to, like, make a turn. She doesn't stop at like crosswalks. Like she just like pulls right into it, and I'm like, I hate that person because like then you're like, do I go in front of them? Are they looking in my direction? Are they trying to make it right? It's a whole thing. I am an angrier driver. I'll give you that, Sarah, but I do think I am a better driver. Obviously, Sarah loves Chip and Joanna, and in fact, we have the Magnolia Story book on our bookshelf. I think that she would have a hard time answering this question because she makes us go to the Target in Glendale because they have a whole section dedicated just to them, and it's like an indoor like garden party. I would say she'd be a candle, and I specifically think it'd be one of the two candles that her parents have at the house over Christmas. There was an amber one, and then there was a pine one. I think she'd go with the pine one. What am I most looking forward to? I know that Sarah is just gonna like shake her head and say that this isn't going to happen, but I do have a sinking feeling that I actually may shed a tear or two at some point during the ceremony. And I know Sarah's like thinking to herself, like, no, she's not. Like, she's not going to do that. Like, that's going to be her. But I am looking forward to hearing her vows the most. Probably right now, Sarah thinks that the funniest thing about me is how I don't find most women to be hot. I'm willing to like acknowledge that certain people are attractive, but Sarah, I think, finds that every person in the world is hot, and it's hilarious to her that I don't agree with all of those. I actually really like her stand up. I don't like the stand up about me, but I do like her stand up. I think it was probably her first like routine or set or whatever. Her Game of Thrones bit. I actually think that that's like the funniest thing that I've heard her write, and I kind of wish she still did it sometimes. But no, she would actually come up with some really funny stuff, and she should get back into it. Oh man, this is a toss up between two things. The obvious, but as Julie will know, that when Sarah cuddled her thinking it was me, and Sarah grabbed her butt. The other thing, and for anybody who has seen me like at the beach, I'm not like a hairy person, but like I have like this little like patch of hair on my chest, and like Sarah's weirdly obsessed with that. So I think on like a given day, she might be like attracted to either one. The most attractive thing about Sarah, I know that this is like a cheesy like answer. I think she's hot, but I actually think what I was really just attracted to when we first met, especially, was just her. I know, again, cheesy answer, but just her positive energy. I just kind of feel lighter or empowered or whatever you want to say around her. I feel encouraged, and I'll like tell her like the stupidest little like good news thing at work, and like she'll go buy a bottle of champagne. Um, so that I think is her most attractive feature of her whole essence, but also her butt. When we first met, it was definitely Chris Pratt before he got jacked. She had this weird thing about, she kept calling it lived in, that she like thought was like attractive, which I don't know what that says about me. I think that that's probably that, or like Maren Morris, honestly, or probably it's probably one of them. first word that comes to mind for me probably would be stable. And I think that's because I am very much unmovable in a positive way. You know, like I acknowledge I can be stubborn, but I do think that more in terms of as somebody views like their rock, I would say maybe Sarah would think stable. Energy. As anybody here knows, until 9 o'clock rolls around and Sarah's sitting on the couch and falls asleep, she is a ball of energy. If you're in a restaurant, a very large restaurant, you can hear exactly what she's saying at all times. She constantly is just bouncing around between thoughts and ideas and conversations. She's great at parties because like she can make all the touch points for me while I just kind of hang back and sip a beer. And she also is kind of my counterpoint where I'm more of that stable. She kind of brings in the spontaneity and the energy into our relationship. Sarah's screen name. Well, okay. Now it's much more professional. It's like Sarah Elizabeth Franklin on Instagram, and her Gmail is SE Franklin, but definitely wasn't her first screen name. It's probably she got AIM in like, was she like 4th grade probably? So honestly, it was probably like Bagel Train 12 or something. She always talks about that place. Too Lazy 135. Sarah's and mine best memory, or my favorite memory of us together, would probably be front row at Taylor Swift. Obviously, it was an emotional mess for everybody. We were all so happy. We had just gotten engaged, and the tickets were free. Thank you, Jackie and Mac. It's just another world up there. And when she asked if we wanted to go to the Pasadena concert, I could not trade away that memory for a back of the concert ticket. I knew I wanted to marry Sarah pretty early on. I know that we moved together. We moved in together rather quickly, about a year in. And I kind of just knew then that this was just going to keep growing. And moving in together was, you know, I thought the best way to take our relationship closer to where I wanted it to be, which is, of course, getting married. Even though we did get into a big fight about Amanda Knox. And I'm sure Sarah and I still have very strong opinions about that woman. But I knew I wanted to do it probably within the few months that we had moved in together. I was just worried that Sarah was at that time obviously younger, and I didn't want her to feel too obligated to commit that young. She wasn't even that young. She was like 25. My mom had already had 2 kids and lived 5 years. So I think really what did it for me was probably our Grand Canyon trip. I just have such good memories thinking back to just being outside with her, being in this awesome place, getting to really experience it together, and just pushing each other to really take advantage of everything that was there. And I think I probably would have done it sooner, but I was really poor at the time. Sarah had made us go out to like dinners every night before we moved in together. And so I would have done it then, but you made me broke and I couldn't.